Hey besties, welcome back to Cats, Chats, and Coffee podcast. We are so happy to be back. It's your girl Liv.
And don't forget about me.
How could I forget Alex? Yep, we've got Alex here with us, and we are ready to dive into another episode.
Yes.
First and foremost, we want to talk about our coffees that we got this morning.
Yeah, let's dive right in. No more dilly-dallying. They just want to hear what we got to drink today, I think.
Yeah, the hot tea is about to be spilled.
Yeah, this is so exciting for me because I had begged Liv to go to this coffee shop this morning.
Yep.
I went here last week with one of our girlfriends.
Traitor!
And I actually texted her or told her, and I was like, oh my god, I feel like I'm cheating on you because I am at a coffee shop with another friend.
Yeah. At a coffee shop? How
Yeah,
dare you?
I know.
No.
And it was one of the ones on our vast list of shops. But that's a good thing because I got to test the waters before we got to actually go in. And
Well, you were able to give me a good recommendation, too.
yeah. And I also was like selfish because I wanted to have the coffee again because it's so great.
Oh, yeah. So tell me, Alex, what did you get?
Well, we went to Pani Circo, which I can't say in Italian. Pani Circo.
Yeah.
It is a...
It's on Queen Street,
Yes,
downtown.
It's on Queen Street next to the Lululemon. If you were just to walk along the Spring Garden Road, it's kind of at the end of the Spring Garden Road. I think across the street from the library as well.
Yeah.
It's
a beautiful, like, glass cylinder type thing.
I'm sure most people, as soon as we said that, probably were like, I know exactly where that place is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Super cute. I actually Googled this morning what Pani Circo means because I wanted to make sure I said the actual name of it correctly because that's respectfly.
Yeah.
And it was so cute. It basically means bread and circus, which is a quote that they pulled from, I think, a Greek philosopher. I don't even have my...
We looked it up.
Yeah, I don't even have it anymore.
On here, but
it basically said that no matter what, people enjoy nice, fresh baked bread and going to the circus. So it was a cute little idiom or saying that I think is so sweet when I had no idea what the name meant until we just looked it up. And
no, I know. I assumed the Circo like had something to do with that, but at the same time I was
pan means bread. So.
Yeah, but like why would circus and like a cafe? So I was like, nah, it can't be. But
unless Circo means bread and pan means
maybe
circus.
It's the opposite.
Just kidding. Yeah,
no, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
but
no, it was great. I actually last week I got oh god, my other friend who speaks French, she's gonna laugh at me because I'm gonna try this like pain au chocolat.
That was pretty good.
The chocolate croissant kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's chocolate bread. I got that last week and it was so good, but we decided to get something different this week so we could try some other things. So not only did we get coffees, we also got a treat.
We did.
You cannot go to this place without picking up a treat as well.
Oh, I called Alex this morning whenever I was there picking it up because it was busy as hell, but also, which like good for you guys, but I was also like overwhelmed with the amount of like bakery options that they had
and breads and cheeses and sandwiches.
Oh yeah, like you could literally buy like a wheel of cheese. They also had, because Easter is coming, obviously.
Yeah.
They had chocolate Easter eggs.
Oh,
like
cute.
massive chocolate Easter eggs that you could
God.
like break.
So obsessed.
Yeah.
So I had a white chocolate latte with oat milk.
Yep.
And it was very good. Last week I had a chai tea latte, the best chai tea latte I've ever had there. This week I wanted to try something different. You guys are going to always hear me either get some sort of cappuccino, latte, mocha. Again, I'm not going to be the one to get like a cortado or just like an espresso shot. So if you want to know that kind of stuff, like you're not going to hear that from me.
Yeah.
I have a little sandbox that I play in when it comes to coffees. Cause,
you know what you like.
You mentioned, like, it's expensive at some of these places. We're not going to spend $16 to get something that we're not going to like. And it wouldn't be fair if I gave a rating on something like a straight espresso or a cortado.
When you know that's not your cup
of tea. Because I'm going to give it a 2, and that's not real, because somebody who actually drinks that would give it maybe like a 10. So.
Yeah, we're not the best at comparing that to anything else, because we don't drink that kind of stuff. Like, I'll drink iced Americanos, but I put sweetener and cream in it, so like...
So so take it all with a grain of salt, obviously, when we do these ratings.
Just our opinions.
But I did want to try something different, which was the white chocolate versus the like hazelnut or vanilla.
Which I was proud of you.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I'm not a huge white chocolate fan, even like
hot chocolate.
Yeah, it wasn't as sweet as I thought it was gonna be.
That was my fear.
Yeah,
with the
but it was
flavor.
still sweet. So it was like kind of this weird dichotomy of like not sweet but sweet. So anyway, I really liked it. I give it like a 9,
Yeah.
9.2. Liv, what did you grab to drink per my recommendation?
So you talked so highly of the chai tea latte, and I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm a little croaky. I'm a little under the weather. I've been sore throat the past couple days, and I can feel like something's coming. So I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling a coffee. Let's get a tea, but I still want it to be like a coffee type of tea.
Yeah,
so
latte tea.
chai tea latte is what I got, and like Alex said, it was the best freaking chai tea latte I've had to date.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and I've only tried a few.
Yeah.
I'm very new to that, but it was really good, guys. And one thing to keep in mind with this place is they do the chai powder, right? Not the chai
Tea bags.
Yeah, so
it's
I
not
don't know.
steeped.
Yeah, if you're like
Unless
which preference you
they
have.
pre-steeped it, and
I think I watched him mix it.
okay, so
Yeah.
sometimes they'll pre-steep it, but usually they'll leave the bags in if it's an actual steeped chai. And that's slightly different with the latte. Sometimes they'll do the powder. I'm pretty sure that's what Starbucks does as well. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I like that. If I'm doing some sort of latte, I don't mind the powder at all. But what would you rate it out of 10?
That was like goodness, 9.8 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say the
for
same.
sure. And maybe the only thing that would make it a 10 out of 10 is if I was like sitting in and getting it like fresh in a
Hot,
cup and getting
yeah.
the whole experience with
So we had to
it.
heat them up again.
Yeah, I heated
It's
up a
tough,
few times.
Yeah, coming from, one destination to another.
Taking it home kind of thing.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit more difficult to be super fair. But as far as the location, tougher for me, but great for Liv.
Oh, I know. Dangerous.
Great for anyone downtown. Students is a little expensive for
It's
maybe a
definitely
student budget.
an
but
expensive spot. But
anybody out there who wants to take a girl or a guy on a date,
yeah, like a cute, like fancier coffee date. This is
this
literally
is the place to
perfect
go.
for
This is
it.
where you're going to flex. This is where you can get some great content.
And it's so aesthetically pleasing inside. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cute. The whole thing around you is like basically windows, floor to ceiling.
But if you are trying to go somewhere to study or do work on a computer or a laptop, this is not the place.
Not the place.
Way too busy, way too loud.
Yeah, people are more coming in for chatting
leaving.
yeah.
So, and people are coming to like buy their weekly bread, get some cheese. It's a little bit different. But well done, guys.
Yeah.
Definitely a great place.
We'll be back.
We'll definitely be back. But yeah, one of our favorites so far. So
Yeah, for sure.
super awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's just our drinks and our snacks that we got this morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to dive into today's episode. So the title of today's episode is Tips, Tricks, and Icks. And this is all around dating, relationships. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of all of it, really. So we are going to break this down. We're going to give you some do's and don'ts. We're going to break down some tips for you as well. We have some tips for the girlies, some tips for the boys, tips for every single person out there. We got stuff for everyone. And yeah, after our tips, we're going to get into
My favorite part.
our individual icks, which is
Yep.
going to be fun. I'm excited to share that too.
Same.
Yeah. And then we're going to end the episode off with Never Have I Ever, which I'm pumped for that too.
Yeah, that's gonna be your favorite part. I think.
It's just going to be a fun little game. And
Yeah, so stay tuned for that.
yeah,
We're
stick
gonna
around to the end.
spill some secrets in that little game.
Oh, you're going to hear
It's
all
supposed
the
to be a
details.
drinking game, but we'll just drink our coffees every time we're doing that.
Yeah, take a espresso shot each
Yeah.
time.
Could you imagine a shot of espresso every time we played?
We would be probably buzzing and like hurling.
It would be
by
a
the end
different kind of
this.
drunk.
Yeah.
Drunk off the caffeine.
Oh my god, the anxiety for the next week would just be awful.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, Alex, start us off with some do's and don'ts because I feel
Alright.
like that's where we need to start.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an expert at this because I've been living on the dating apps since eHarmony and Plenty of Fish. I'm showing my age again.
Yeah, not shamed at all.
But yeah, like obviously Hinge, Bumble, Grindr, and Tinder, and honestly, Instagram is like now considered a dating app. The amount of people who are like, I met my partner on Instagram is wild.
Yeah, or even like Twitter.
Yeah, any of the social media. And Facebook actually has a dating.
I saw that.
I was on
actually,
that
and was
too.
Very alarmed.
Desperate times, girl. Desperate
God.
times.
We're all single and lonely.
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm not lonely with you though. I've got you now.
That was so nice of her. I'm still lonely.
Oh, ouch.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna just get into, like Liv said, the first segment here of the episode really is some do's and don'ts when it comes to setting up your profile on your dating app.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on the dating apps. Liv, you've, I
Also been
assume,
on.
have been on the dating apps.
Yeah, many a times.
Really, I mean, with this day and age, it's the only place to really find people.
It's our main form, for
Totally.
sure. And it's kind of like our opportunity to put ourselves out there and like,
yeah.
yeah.
Especially after COVID, like, no one wants to go up to people anymore. Like, no one wants to go out in general.
I know.
We're all
Shake
like,
hands at a bar?
I
God,
know.
no.
We're all reclused in our places of our dwelling places, our homes and apartments and caves wherever we live, and no one wants to date the same way. So we're really reliant on these dating apps, and I miss organic dating. I really do.
Wonder what that's like, because I feel like I've not experienced
Yeah, maybe you've never really had.
Not really.
Yeah,
no.
I guess it would be kind of, you kind of grew up in, like, your prime was in the dating app.
Definitely.
Oh, weird to think
or
about
just
that.
on the internet. Like, I remember, like, MSN even. Like,
MSN,
you'd come home and the cute boy from blah, blah, blah class would message you on MSN to ask
you go offline and offline, online, offline.
So they get the notification.
Yes. Or you change, like, I'm so lonely lyrics in your name.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh my God, such nostalgia. But yeah, so let's get into the 2023 type of dating. Again, if you're on the dating apps, great. I'm off them right now. I'm taking a break from them. I just, they're hard. They're a hard thing to...
They're also not the greatest place.
They're not the greatest
lately.
place.
Like, and I don't enjoy being there.
Yeah,
so
it's not... It doesn't make me feel very great. And you're always going to see the same people on these apps. Like, I, like, download it. I go on it. I swipe. I delete it. I come back. The same people are there. They're like, hey, welcome back. It's like a group of us all just, like, knowing each other's faces, but never actually meeting or swiping. Same people swiping on you, but you're not swiping back. It's just it's a free-for-all on these apps. So the first one here, without further ado, do keep it short and simple and real. This is tips for the girls or anyone who's looking for that male attention. Guys don't always read a full profile. So if you have like a storybook in your bio, this is specific to your bio. Yeah. It is not going to be read. So be very short, simple, and real, which kind of goes into the next point of what's the kind of content that we would put in a bio when we keep it short and simple.
Yeah, so put a sentence of what you're looking for, maybe the type of person you're looking to meet, or what your intentions are. So basically, like, to relate to her point just above, short, sweet, simple, and real, like, but also being clear. Yeah. You're being very obvious about what it is that you're looking for. If you're on there looking for a relationship, like, specify that. If you're on there not looking for a serious relationship, it's also amazing to specify that. Like, people need to know.
Now, a lot of the apps also have a lot of, like, profile features that you can fill out, like your zodiac sign or what, like, are you looking for a long-term relationship? Do you like smoking or non-smoking? Do you drink? Are you a social drinker? Like, it really has blown up with the detail when it comes to that. So, like, people can just literally have a profile of prompts that they fill out. But if you do have something, like, I think it is really important, like Liv, you were just saying, to have a sentence of, like, your intentions and what you are looking for, and the type of person you're looking to meet, because that's going to weed out anyone who isn't going to match that specific person. Yes, we look at the photos, and yes, it's our first impression, but, like, the second thing is to go read and see what their profile looks like.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking for myself, like, if I'm coming across someone's profile and, like, I'm not personally looking for a serious relationship at the moment, and I look and I see looking for a relationship, or they have a little blip in there somewhere, ready to settle down. Kids, like, they're being very clear that they want a serious relationship. I'm not even going to engage, because it's pointless at that point. So I think it's a really beneficial one to be mindful of.
Yeah, and going along with that, for what you're looking for, like, something really fun that I look for personally is a fun fact or something funny, like a funny quote, just something that shows your personality. I really do appreciate a person who can, like, make fun of themselves in their profile, or be very witty or clever, or just show a little bit of, like you care. There's so many people who don't fill out a profile who is like, or who will say something like, you know,
kind of boring,
or, like, even rude, even, like, if you're not this with this butt and this like you don't go to the gym 6 days a week and you don't eat this
I'm
too.
not
Like I'm not
interested.
like it's kind of rude.
Or
Instead of like
why
bashing.
bother matching if you're not going to respond to my I hate when people put passive aggressive
like,
comments like
totally, great
that.
point.
Well, this is like essentially, if you think about it, it's a little trailer into like who you are as a person.
Exactly.
So think of how you want to like use your words to describe yourself. And whatever it is that you're sharing, like that's people's first insight into you. So on a place that like we have no other judgments except physical appearance.
Yeah, the first impressions on these apps matter.
It's a big one for sure.
Yeah.
So I think the last one for do's that we have is including emojis where possible, but only a couple. So this is kind of a do and a don't. Like, don't overdo it.
Yeah.
But this goes hand in hand in everything that we've just said. Like, keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it clear and concise, but also like by like whatever emojis you use, you'll kind of give people a little insight into what you're interested in. Or
it's a good a way to skim.
Yeah,
like if you have a pizza emoji and a cat emoji and like a skateboard, you kind of have a little idea of that person there.
Also, like you learn how they're gonna talk. One thing that this is just like me thinking right now, if I see someone doesn't spell the word like Y-O-U and they just put the letter U, like,
are we in junior high again?
I'm not talking to you.
Totally.
If you can't even type out a full word, like I do not want to even have a conversation.
That's true for a lot of people, I'm sure.
Absolutely. But yeah, basically this is just like your little opportunity to...
It's like your elevator pitch of interviews, you know? What's the first thing that you would say to the best parts about you, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
That's great. So yeah, just a couple do's, and then we only have a couple don'ts here. This one's a funny one because it's all personal. Take everything with a grain of salt. These are just our opinions and things that we've done some research on. But one thing that we found come up a lot is don't be corny and say things like the weight of my heart is through my stomach, or something generic like dating is hard, but striking up a fun conversation with a stranger is harder. Like those corny. I think we had talked
cringe.
about pickup lines.
Yeah.
Like. What's your favorite pickup line?
Oh, did it hurt when you fell from heaven or some shit like
what
that?
Hurt? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it hurt? Yeah, those weird.
Just like some people really like these, and I will never understand those people. But I just don't think it needs to be so corny. Like there's actually decent pickup lines out there that aren't as cheesy and like don't sound as awful.
Yeah, and again,
you don't really leave someone with like much to say back to that. Like their response is either going to be what the response of like the actual corny cheesy line is, or it's going to be like, oh, which is like not a good vibe to start.
Yeah, you kind of feel awkward about it. So like putting that in your profile, even like when I see kind of those generic cheesy things or like knock knock jokes or stuff like that, I mean, there's witty and clever, and then there's like cringy and corny, and I think
like
there's a fine line.
Me uncomfortable.
Yeah. Now I'm awkward.
Yeah,
for sure.
So another don't, and this one I'm very passionate about. Don't be creepy when you're sliding into the DMs or kind of like whatever your first message is, whether it's on the dating apps or on any of these social media
Instagram,
platforms. Like, just don't be creepy. And like I know that's such a vague, like there's so much we could put into that,
a wide range of creepiness.
Yeah, more so what we're thinking is like, if your profile, like, do you have a profile picture? Like, do you have people that you follow? Do you actually post on Instagram? Are you like
private?
Yeah, are you messaging someone from a private account with no posts and no photo? Like your photo is of like a car or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not really giving anyone. And especially if this is someone who doesn't know you, you're not really giving them anything to work with. And like, I don't know, similarly to whatever little couple phrases or paragraph you decide to put in like your Tinder bio, same thing with your first message on Instagram or whatever social media it is you're using. That sets the tone for the conversation, and you're really opening up the door for how that person's going to respond to you. So if you're saying something creepy like, oh, I just was at so-and-so cafe and I saw you there, that's extremely uncomfortable, and you kind of just feel like you invaded my privacy. Like, that's not going to make me want to go on a date with you.
Totally. I think for me, what I've seen in my DMs is a lot of what you were just saying. Like, a person will message me and be like, hey, like, we should go on a date, or we should go for a walk, or I, love your
right
profile.
Off the get-go.
And I'm like, Okay, so I read it, and it's usually in like the private, like, there's like general, primary, requests,
In
like
the
it's usually deep in
requests.
there.
Yeah.
And then I'll once every blue moon go check them out, and then I'll see like the same thing you were just saying. Somebody will message me, and then I'll scroll up and they've messaged me like 14 times or replied to my
Yeah.
stories because I currently have an open profile.
Yeah.
But when I click to see who this person is,
You have no
I have
information
no
of
clue.
them.
Their profile's private.
Yeah.
They may have like 5 followers, or they're following like 300 people and have 0 followers, or they
Which,
have
like,
no profile photo.
not good vibe. It's not a
Like
good
that
vibe to
makes
give
me
off.
uncomfortable. So I'm never going to respond to you.
Yeah.
If you have an open profile, if you're confident in what you're saying and it's coming off kind, or it's a friend of a friend, like sliding into the DM is a great way to get to know people.
It really is, and
I
it's
know
successful in
it can be really
many.
successful.
Yeah.
But be mindful of putting yourself in the person receiving that message's shoes and how they might feel or how that might come across.
Yeah.
And so it goes both ways. It doesn't matter if you're sliding into a guy's DM or a girl's DM.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If you're going to do it, make sure you have an open profile. Make sure your photos of who you are, what you look like,
Give
how
them
old
a
you
reason
are.
to, like, want to get to know you,
Yeah,
or share some of this
right.
stuff, like, off the get. Like, if it's someone who you really aren't familiar with at all, like, yeah. Just, like, even for example, like, if someone's messaging you that many times over and over again, like, my immediate first response is, this person is pushy. This person is impatient. So, like, literally, like Alex just said, think of how this is going to come across in the other person's mind. Like, if they're not responding to your message, they probably have a really good reason for that. And then if you go and message them again, or you're only sending hard eye reactions to their stories, like, these are not giving off good vibes. This is not giving off the vibes of, this is someone who I want to start a serious, healthy relationship with.
Yeah,
like,
and it makes you think, like, does this person actually, are they interested in me, or are they interested in something else?
yeah, do they want something from me, or
Right.
do they actually want to get to know me?
And this day and age, you have to be super mindful because there are so many opportunities for like dangerous situations to happen.
Which
and
we're gonna get into.
I think, prelude for that. I also think that you and I were talking about this right before we actually were doing this episode, our own personal experiences, and we both had experiences where, I have been polite and responded and been like, oh, no, thank you, or something. This was a while ago, and I've learned my lesson there, because then that opens the door for people thinking they have access to you. But then I've also, what I do now is mostly just ignore them. And I've gone back after weeks, and I've seen really nasty, like, you're a bitch, and
yeah, like, they lose their
F
shit.
you, and I like, what a cunt for not messaging me back. And they get so angry because you don't respond to these random blocked profiles that you don't even know who. It's a stranger.
Yeah, and they've given you no, like, real reason to be interested, and now they've just confirmed that with, like, an outrageous reaction.
So you've made the right choice
Yeah.
by, sticking to your gut feeling there. But that's a big don't. So yeah. And then the last one, it really kind of goes hand in hand with what Liv and I were just talking about, which is, I mean, I bet you're all thinking it before I even say it, but don't be a catfish. And boys, girls, men, women, everyone can have a chance to be a catfish. And when I look at profiles for guys, something that's a trigger for me or a red flag is, like, if a guy has a profile where every single one of his photos he has a hat on, I mean, that's usually telling me that this person's bald or doesn't have a lot of hair, and they're trying to hide that.
Or think, like, if they're intentionally only doing, like, waist up photos or something, like, immediately to me, I'm like, oh, you skip leg day, or, like,
right, you're insecure about something,
or your height, or whatever it is.
Let's be very clear. I don't care if you're bald. I don't care if you have skinny legs. I actually like skinny legs on guys. But, like, own that stuff.
It's just the fact of hiding it.
Right. If you're every single one of your, let's say, not even on Instagram, if we're going back to the dating apps, if all your pictures are of you in, like, a hockey helmet, or you have sunglasses on, you're covering your face, or you're making a silly face, or you're not smiling or showing your teeth, your mouth is closed in every single photo, I'm going to start to be like, okay, well, why am I seeing this random trend that's not a good trend? And then on the flip side, when we're talking about women, obviously makeup, photos, and being heavily filtered.
Oh, that can be really bad, especially in today's day and age. It can be excessive.
Totally. So, I mean, you're going to figure out who that person is eventually.
That's kind of the thing, is like, why bother trying to catfish or like really, really hide who you are? Is like, the whole point is you're trying to get a relationship out of this, or maybe you're just trying to hook up or whatever it is.
Exactly.
But like, you have to see this person in person, eventually, face to face, eye to eye. Like, you're gonna see them head to toe. And
own everything. Own your insecurities. Own your flaws. Own your beauties. Own everything.
It's just more attractive.
Be natural. Be authentic. Be yourself. And I can guarantee if you follow those things, you'll see a way better result.
Oh yeah, it'll work out like more positively for you for sure.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's just some like do's and don'ts in like the general scheme of dating, being on the apps, pursuing people, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna get into more like specific tips. So we'll start off we're gonna do like tips for the girlies, but this obviously is inclusive. This is more so anyone attracting like the male gaze or just a masculine person.
Totally.
Or just anyone who, like you'll understand when you hear the tips. So first and foremost, I think the biggest one, and we obviously are two women here speaking for ourselves, and we have purely like, that's what our experience looks like.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
So, and as two women, we know one of the biggest things is making sure that you're safe. So we have many tips when it comes to this, but kind of like sharing your location with a friend, letting people know in advance where it is that you're going out on a date, making sure that like when you're conversing with this person and deciding on a location to go or deciding on what the activity is going to be, like think of your safety.
Totally.
Don't go on a hike in the woods for your first date with a stranger.
Or drive out to the middle of nowhere to their cabin.
Exactly. Sometimes it's even a good idea to meet the person where you're going so that you have a car and you know that you have a way to get out.
Yeah, public place for sure.
But picking a public place, like letting a friend, like this could be turning your location on and sending it in advance to your friends. Dropping a pin. I'm going to be here tonight. This is what the person that's sending all the information to your friends. Like, it's just a smart thing to do.
And the funny thing is like, we're probably repeating things that you guys listening who are on dating apps or who are currently open to dating have done. Like, my friend dropped a meme to me the other day. And it was like, you're dating when, shares location, shares this, share. And we laughed at it, but then I like took some time to reflect. And
it's not actually funny.
It's kind of sad.
It's really sad.
We've gotten to that place where we have to be so careful.
Yeah.
Especially with everything we see on the news. How many times have we seen those, sex trafficking, or that person got murdered and like shoved in a suitcase? And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Do I even want to put myself out there if that's the risk we're taking?
Close and potential like that actually is there. And it is really sad, and I hate to say it, but like as women, we've just kind of learned to take it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. I think we are also doing a really good job at like standing up for ourselves and fighting back, especially now. Like, women are, our voices are being heard, and we're
being a lot more mindful of our surroundings. You
know? It's just sad that we've had to learn to like, I don't know, engage
and it goes
in
both
life.
ways. Let's make sure we put it like it still can go both ways. Like,
absolutely.
And this is just, again, like Liv mentioned, our experience
as two women,
and things that we've either felt safe or unsafe in the environments that we've had to put ourselves through. So definitely just wanting to make sure you guys are putting yourself first and being mindful of that as well. Yeah.
To wrap up that, like the safety, kind of like to wrap up that point as a whole, the last thing I would say is make sure you research the person before you meet them. I know, like, share obviously all that information with your friend, but like do your own research yourself. Like, look up all their platforms, like anything that they tell you, like read into it. And
talk to them a little bit before
ask
you meet
them like
them.
serious questions, like what is their home life like, what are they like.
This is called vetting, really. And some people hate it. Some people are like, I don't want to be pen pal and spend 3 weeks talking, and we're not talking about that.
But sometimes it's important.
But sometimes it can be important, especially if you're getting a weird vibe from a person and you want to get to know them. Even having a FaceTime or a phone call conversation.
Yes.
I mean, this is the reason that blind dates don't exist anymore.
Because no one would trust that.
Yeah.
But last thing, no is a complete sentence.
Yeah, I love that quote.
This also goes for whoever it is saying no. Like, have confidence in your no. You don't need to explain yourself. No is the whole sentence.
Totally.
Whatever it is that you want to say no to, you say it. If someone is saying no to you, you absolutely take it.
Yeah,
point blank.
This means anything from, do you want to go back to my place? No. Do you want something more to drink? And they order you another drink? No. Like, It doesn't matter if you're in a place where you're saying no for both parties, respect your no and respect their no, whoever's the person saying
like, don't push, because you might now, like, push someone into changing their no to a maybe. And I know a lot of manipulative men, I'm just saying again from my personal experience that I've been with, who absolutely do that intentionally. And you just have to...
When you go to the bathroom, there's, like, more drinks on the table and things like that.
No, I said I didn't want another drink. Why did you get me another one?
Totally. Yeah, definitely. That's great. Those are all great points. Something that is a little bit back to that vetting point that we were talking about is what Liv and I like to call know your non-negotiables. And I usually will throw my hand up in a 5 and be like, these are my 5 non-negotiables. And like some examples of that are, and again, there's like the boundary non-negotiables, and then there's like the personal taste non-negotiables.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not somebody who is attracted to a smoker. Like, I don't want to be dating somebody who's heavily into nicotine, chewing, smoking, vaping, whatever that looks like.
So basically, someone tells you that they smoke, you know right away that this is not your person.
Or somebody who goes trophy hunting in the, in Africa savannah and murders animals. Like, I'm not really into that as well. So there's some values, morals, non-negotiables, things that are very important. And so, for you guys, it might be you don't want to date somebody who was divorced, or you don't want to date somebody who has children already.
Yeah.
Those are all things that should be talked about in the vetting process.
Absolutely.
So you know people's intentions and basically their baggage, for lack of better words.
That's exactly it. And it's important to know these things about people, and it's important to openly share them.
Yeah, be honest.
Exactly. And I think it's a really good thing, to know your non-negotiables before going in, especially to your first date with someone, because something might come up on the first date that if you didn't have these non-negotiables in the back of your head, you wouldn't be able to say, okay, after that first date, I know that I'm not going on another one.
Right.
And then we will continue to go on the dates with this person that's not lining up with our values or what it is we want out of life.
So you're romanticizing them.
But then we ask questions and they're like, why is this not working? Yeah. Oh, I thought this was going to be it. When in reality, you should have been...
You were ignoring your red flags.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great point. What's the next one, Liv?
So next, don't limit yourself.
I think that goes back into back in the day, I used to say I wasn't going to date somebody who had kids. So I would limit a whole pool of potential people.
Yeah.
Some people, again, they have a non-negotiable. Let's go back to they don't like dating people who are bald. Mm-hmm. But as we get older and as we're being more open-minded and, getting to know people's personalities, you have perceptions of things that might be a little bit more surface level, or would have been a non-negotiable 5 years ago, and you reevaluated it and you realize maybe it's not the same anymore.
Yeah, so I think kind of how you said at the start, where some are boundaries, some are non-negotiables and red flags, and some are just your own personal preferences.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of stems on that because just for me, for example, I very much love dark features and facial hair. But if I were to only date someone who has dark hair, dark features and facial hair...
Watch Liv marry a Swedish guy with blonde hair, blue eyes.
I would actually... Well, the blue eyes, I would love that, but I would genuinely be disappointed.
That's so fun. Okay, so blonde guys do not contact
But see, that's what I'm trying to say, is I learned to, give that up.
Open
I'm still
your mind.
Heavily... I would just say that I'm more into that. That kind of person would grab my attraction or my attention more so than someone with light hair, light features. But I could have completely closed off a ton of people, an entire pool of people, possibly my person in there. So it's kind of don't limit yourself, especially when it's superficial stuff or
Yeah,
really
the hair color
those.
thing we hear a lot with the girl side of things, blondes over brunettes, that's always, or even redheads, blondes, brunettes, that's always been, or big boobs,
and height
big butt.
For the other side of things.
Great point, guys. I'm sorry, there's so many.
I know
wonderful,
so many
short kings.
And they're awesome.
But one of my non-negotiables for a while was not dating somebody under 6'1".
Yeah, but you have a little bit of insecurity around your height as a woman.
And again, it's nothing about the guy. It's because I'm taller for a girl.
It's actually funny because the short guys will get upset at women for this type of statement, when in reality the women who say these types of things are the ones who having the exact same insecurity as the short guys.
That I've had
just the
people
opposite
comment on how tall. I mean, we've said this in an episode before, I'm only 5'7.5".
She's like not
that
skyrocket
tall,
yeah.
But I look taller, and so people are always like, "Oh, you're tall for a girl," and it's like, thanks, but like
it doesn't really make me feel good.
Yeah, so it goes both ways, every way, all the way around.
Yeah, it just for everyone. Yeah, next up.
Yeah, so I think we already talked about this, so we don't really need to get into details. I know Liv is super passionate about this one, which is don't use filters all the time. And I'm going to caveat all the time because everyone uses filters.
Yeah.
But heavy filters or filters on every single photo or no makeupless, no all natural photos, like that's just not going to do anyone any good.
Yeah.
You know, I get people are insecure. I use filters sometimes.
Yeah. But that's what it is. It's hiding an insecurity and kind of how we touched earlier. Like, this person's going to see you in person anyway.
Yeah, totally.
So that acne or those fine lines or the discoloration or those
scars,
lips that don't have filler that
yeah.
you're trying to hide and, like, compensate for in these filters, the person is going to see you face to face and they're going to see all of that. So
Absolutely.
It's like, it's okay to use the filters, but if you're utilizing it in a catfish sense to hide what you really look like, it's not going to be beneficial.
Absolutely. So anyone who's out there that has a cat nose and cat ears, we know you're not really a cat.
The filter, we see through it, girl.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
For sure. So yeah, to wrap up the last few points for tips for the girlies and everyone else, forget about the texting and the calling rules. It is not a game.
Right.
So yeah, this is kind of like an old narrative. We already know that it's not a game. Yeah, that's not true. And this like goes for the guys or anyone else as well.
Yeah, this is for anyone. Really.
I think this one's inclusive for everyone, really. Like, don't play the game. You like if someone texts you and you are on your phone, you see them respond and you want to respond to them, respond. Yeah. Do not wait. Don't leave them hanging for 2 hours just to prove a point that you're not super interested or whatever. Right. Like, that just grinds my gears.
Oh my gosh.
And
so
trust
true.
me, it'll be like a positive benefit if you stop playing that foolish game.
Well, here's the thing. This is what psychology says. Sometimes in relationships, people show up as their best versions of themselves, or they'll act specifically like they are aloof or they don't care as much to get that like chasing and be chased type of
when
game.
In reality, they're like anxious as fuck.
Well,
on the
exactly.
Other side.
If we're gonna, eventually we'll look into attachment styles and masculine and feminine energies. But at the end of the day, if you start to date somebody after 3 months, your guards and your perfect version is going to crumble and unravel, and your true version of yourself will show up.
Yeah, so
and
don't
that
be
person is going to be thinking, okay, well, this is not the person I fell for or who I thought I was dating.
This is not how they acted 2 months ago.
Right. Now they're looking, they're texting me all the time, or they're double texting, or whatever it may be that they were trying so desperately to hide. Maybe they think it's a bad habit, or that's not who they want to become. At the end of the day, we always go back to ourselves and our old habits, and they will show if they're ugly, bad habits, they will show their ugly face. So you might as well be honest and upfront and just be who you are. And this is me. I'm laying my cards on the table. Don't show everything. Obviously, we like some mystery.
It takes time to get to know.
Yeah, you don't have to be
someone.
like, here's my social insurance number, like, here's my bank account. But like, honestly, the big things I think are really important to be open and honest about. And if you want to text or call them the next day, do it. And if they don't like it, then that's not your person.
But also, then you know that person is playing the game. Do you want to does it feel good when you do that? Because it doesn't.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just you stop playing the game, and then you'll stop attracting people who are playing like that as well. And it's just
it can be exhausting and sad and like. Ghosting
it's
culture.
It's a waste of time,
and
honestly,
and then again, I guess this goes into the next couple points is like pay attention to those red flags as well as the green flags. We don't really need to get into that because I think just mentioning it is enough.
Loud and clear.
But yeah, the last two is don't overshare. So it's not about the game that we were talking about. This is like, just always talking about yourself or always talking about the negative things or always, complaining, things like that. A big one that I know we've both talked about is when guys talk negatively about their exes. And again, this goes for the girls.
Yes.
If girls talk negatively about their exes, like, talking about your past relationships on the first date or the first couple of dates isn't good.
Well, it can be a red flag. And also the way that they choose to talk about this person. Like, we're only hearing one person's side of the story.
Yeah.
I'm sure if that ex was here, they would have a completely different story.
Totally. We don't know what happened.
Yeah. And, like, don't be naive and listen to everything that these people tell you that you don't, like, this is a stranger still. Like, don't listen to everything that they tell you and just trust it. Like, take it with a grain of salt, because I'm not trying to teach people to not be trustworthy, but like have your walls up enough to protect you. Like, this is, it's all about like your safety and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's a good one of like not oversharing. And even another thing that came to mind when you said that is like, I know people just want to like get to know each other already, and like the first few things you learn about someone, you're like head over heels about them, and you're just like, oh, if I tell
them... They're so perfect.
Yeah, if I tell them my whole life story, then we can just get to knowing each other already, and then
instead
we
of like,
can
what's your favorite color, and skipping all that small talk.
And it's just like, slow down. You don't need to tell everything about yourself all on the first date or on the first, in the first month. Like, you will get to know these parts of each other, but...
That's sometimes the best part, I know, of dating is like that.
It's
getting
to
know. But a lot of people like to skip over that, and you don't always get that back.
But that's that instant gratification in like society right now, and I feel like
which goes perfectly into the last point here, which is romanticizing people and having that deer in headlights kind of love bombing blur of who we think somebody is. And when we romanticize it because maybe we're desperate to get in a relationship, maybe we're insecure and, you know, this person's really attractive, or maybe whatever the reason is, and we ignore those red flags we were talking about, we ignore our non-negotiables we were talking about, we ignore all of those things about the negative stuff they were talking about their exes, and we romanticize the crap out of them. And that also is really unhealthy too.
We only see, like, for me, for example, they have dark features and a beard or facial hair. Like, that's not enough. They're red flags that are also present. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I need to be, or we need to be in the situation, like, holding on to.
That's the vetting part. So it all comes full circle. It all is relative and related to one another. So let's get into tips for the guys, or anyone looking for the female or male or woman, I guess, gaze, right?
Yeah. If you're, just looking to date the girlies or anyone with the femme presenting, really. I feel like this is beneficial.
Totally.
For them.
So I think a big one here is dating etiquette and how to plan a date. And again, this is, take everything with a grain of salt, and also it's all relative to anybody, but at the end of the day, we've already mentioned this, which is be honest about what you're looking for. Be clear and upfront about your intentions. If you are looking to just hook up, have a one-night stand, not a serious relationship, let that person know. If you're looking for a long-term relationship where it could potentially lead to, say, marriage, let the person know, because we don't want to be wasting anyone's time.
That's kind of like, ask these kind of questions or be clear on your intentions before asking said person to go on a date, or before asking for their number. That's kind of, I feel like,
totally
an important point there.
Absolutely. So this next one is like a general rule. It's like the toilet paper rule. Do you put the toilet paper with the toilet paper going over under? Everyone always is like, who pays for the date? So our rule is, if you ask, you pay. So if she asks, she should pay. If you, as we're talking to the guys, if you ask her on a date, then you should pay, because you are inviting somebody out to spend time with them. You should plan the date. You should pay for the date. It's your responsibility. And then vice versa, like we said.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good, like, way to word it too, because even, like, for the girls, like, don't neglect the kings. Like, we can take a guy out for a date as well. We can absolutely ask.
Take care of.
Ask a person out and take them out, but just know that if you're the one, oh, I have this really great date idea, I would love this if you come and do this with me. Just know that, like, you're the one asking and offering. You should be expected to pay and know that, like, going into it.
And honestly, if you're somebody who disagrees and you want to go Dutch, and or somebody who doesn't pay, then be upfront about that. Like, listen, before I go to the date, I usually like to split. Is that okay with you? And if the girl says, sure, that's no problem, then she knows. And there's no awkward transactional weirdness about the bill or the waitress being like, who's paying? Like at the end, you just kind of figure that out beforehand.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
For sure. Going into the next one, which is like on point with this one. When you're planning the date or whoever it is asking for the date, I think it's really important to get details from the person that you're asking. Yeah. So like if you want to take them out to eat, do they have food allergies? Mm-hmm. Do they have a specific schedule time like that works for them, or they like can't do weekends, or they know that they can't be out past 9, just for example, or something. They have kids or whatever it is. Like ask these things in advance, get some of their input, understand like what kind of restaurants they like to go. Maybe again, if you're doing some of our do's and don'ts from the earlier part, like you'll see in their bio on Tinder or something that they like to go for hikes, or they like
Italian food.
Exactly. Like learn something about the person and then make it very specific to them, which I think just makes the date more likely to be better. And
it's more likely to actually go on the date. Statistically speaking, this one grinds my gears because it happens to me a lot. A guy will be like, hey, we should go on a date. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And
Tell me what the date
is. It's like looking at my watch being like, okay, are you going to ask me? And then weeks go by and they're like, hey, we should go on a walk.
Dude,
and then you're like, okay.
Missed opportunity.
It is a missed opportunity.
You don't understand that when we say sure to this, we're basically saying yes to you doing a failed asking.
We're waiting for you to make the plan.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into femininity and masculinity, but to be honest, when a man takes control, specifically this is what I like. If you're going to ask me on a date, this straight up, I need you to be like, hey, there's a really cool restaurant here. I'm thinking about going on Saturday. Did you want to join me?
Yeah.
Are you free at 6:00 this Saturday?
Yeah.
For, restaurant, pizza town, whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, great. So you've made a plan. You've made the time. Made a reservation. I know for sure that we've planned official date. And then the day of the date, if you don't message me to confirm, are we still good for 6:00 tonight?
Yeah.
Can I pick you up? Do you want to meet me there? Whatever that looks like. I'm assuming we're not going on the date until I hear from you. Mm-hmm. And that's happened where I've had a date planned for 6 and I didn't hear from the guy until like 6:15. And I'm sitting in my pajamas being like, I didn't think we were going anymore.
See, I think it's like the taking initiative.
Yeah.
And whether you're male, female, non-binary, like it doesn't matter who it is that you're asking out. Like taking the initiative and knowing that this person who is interested in you is like putting the effort in. They want this to be successful. So they're putting on their best pants and they're showing up at the best self for you kind of thing. Yeah. And it's like, show
that you care.
Yeah, and like it will work out for your benefit in that sense for sure.
How many dates didn't happen because somebody didn't actually stand up and say like this date, time, place?
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. No, absolutely. Going into the next one, asking about your date. We did talk about this at the start as well. Asking them personal questions. So
showing
this one,
interest.
Yeah, it's like have a happy balance of talking about yourself, but also asking them questions. So maybe it looks like you ask them a question, you listen to their answer, you're responsive, you're hearing what they're saying and being interactive and engaging to it. But then afterwards, you share what your response to that answer is as well.
Sure, yeah.
So you ask what their hobbies are, then afterwards you also share what your hobbies are. Or something that they're talking about, like one of their interests or maybe a family relationship or something that they're passionate about, they're sharing, and that sets off something that you're also passionate about or something that you're interested in.
Find commonalities and things that you share, like I said, in common. I ask a lot of questions on dates. I always feel like I'm trying to fill space, or if I stop talking, there's like an awkward pause. So then I feel like I'm always having to ask questions.
It can be hard.
And it's never like me sitting there talking about myself. I'm oftentimes spending the whole date talking about them.
But also, you're the kind of person where you need someone to ask you the questions. Yeah. You're really good for asking someone questions, but you also need them.
I want them to show interest in me.
To hear the questions you're asking, answer them, but also ask you stuff as well.
Absolutely.
So obviously, this is very situational because you're not necessarily going to go on all the best dates and everyone's going to know how to have a good conversation and carry the flow of a conversation, but more so just for like you specifically showing up for the date it's important for you to kind of take control for yourself to make sure that you're having a happy balance of engaging and interacting, sharing your opinions, your interests, but also asking this person and listening to what it is that they're sharing with you.
And I think it makes something that we might be forgetting. It makes it a lot easier when you have a basic interest in the person. Yeah. Obviously, you go on a date and the person, say, catfished you, or they're super rude to the waitress or something, and you're like, okay, well, I don't even think I'm ever gonna, I don't even want to get past this date, let alone plan a second date. I get that it could be hard, but yeah, definitely think about the conversation when you get on your date.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. So we are going to share our icks. So we thought this one would be funny. So we just kind of made a list of, Alex is going to share her 10, and then I'm going to share my 10. And we have some that are kind of similar, some overlying ones, or overlaying, or whatever.
Overlapping.
But overlapping. That's supposed to. Thank you for filling that in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we also have some different ones that I think probably a lot of you listeners can relate to.
Probably. So. I know Icks is definitely, we saw that trending on TikTok and Instagram. Oh, yeah. Everyone has them. These are not non-negotiables. These are not the red flags we were talking about. These are just silly things that either make or break whether or not we want to go on a date with you.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I'll just fly through mine. Number 1, sorry guys. I make this joke all the time. I have a nose like a basset hound. I can smell everything and anything. Oh, so if you smell bad or have bad breath, bad BO, for me, that just equates to personal and general hygiene. I'm a very big hygiene person.
Yeah.
I take, sometimes 2 showers a day. Jesus. So anyway, yeah, so if you smell bad, I'm, definitely not feeling interested or attracted to you. Pretending to be more knowledgeable about something than they actually are.
Oh, so that one gets me.
This is let's just use the term mansplaining. I mean, sometimes I can come off as a know-it-all, but man, when guys have that cocky...
That's what it is, though, the cockiness
it's that peacocking. Let me tell you how it is. Let me... protect you, take care of you. I know more than you. Oh, that's just not an attractive thing. No. Being overbearing or rude to the waitress, waiter, or help staff. Massive one for me. Just treating people with kindness, opening the door for somebody. And I don't mean just for me, but just anyone.
Watching how they interact with customer service, though.
Social interactions are huge. I'm very observant. So if you are thoughtful and kind in your everyday interactions.
You're seeing that.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. So number 4 here. Double texting. This kind of goes into even the sliding into the DMs like we were talking about. So sending a second text.
Yeah.
If I didn't respond to the first one, I work. I'm really busy. I have lots going on.
Yeah.
I love to text people. I want to text when I'm interested in you. But if I don't text and then 20 minutes later you're question mark, hello, I'm just gonna be oh, that's a huge ick.
I can't even stand that.
I know lots of guys say girls do that a lot, that stage 5 clinger kind
of
but
thing. On the other side, we've had a lot of guys do that to us.
Yeah. Living in a mess or being sloppy is a huge one for me. I mean, there's organized chaos, there's mess, but basically what I'm referencing is back to the hygiene, is being dirty. When you've gone to a guy's bathroom and there's the pee around the toilet, or their shaving beard stuff is in the sink.
I don't think guys realize how much girls judge the state of their bathroom.
Oh my gosh, it is. Just be mindful of your environment, because then I think if you're gonna live in this, what else are you not caring personally about?
Yeah,
and that is a big flag for me.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of a personal, my preference for the way somebody looks, but bad teeth to me, somebody who doesn't take care of their teeth, it kind of goes back again to the bad breath and hygiene.
The hygiene stuff.
But
if you can see the plaque on their teeth.
Yeah, or if they're missing teeth, and not I've ever gone on a date and a guy showed up with missing teeth, but smiles are massive to me. People say, what are you attracted to? I like hands, I like eyes, I like hair, I like smiles. And so if you don't have a great smile, it's a little icky.
You notice it.
And then again, hygiene. Oh my God, there's a theme.
I was gonna say, I'm noticing something here, girl.
Having dirty or long fingernails. I'm just gonna leave that at that, guys. Think about your hands and fingernails, and if they're dirty or long, take care of them.
Yeah,
I know a place you can go to get them done. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
chewing with their mouth open, like, or
Just don't
like,
do it.
yeah, that's whatever. Being clingy, kind of back to that double texting, or like love bombing me, or just being super obsessive and like overly attentive.
Like, clearly an unhealthy codependent.
Being super dependent and not having your own life or your own friends. Like, that's just, ugh. And then lastly, being a self-proclaimed mama's boy or being taken care of by an obsessive mother. I have seen some obsessive mothers in the past, but like men who still kind of act like a baby or like need their mom
who like
to
let their mom still
clean,
mother them,
take care of them, cook for them all the time, like, and they're, you know, it's like there's no room for me in the relationship when the mom and kid already have the son already have that relationship. So.
But also you're a grown human, like,
show some independence.
You don't need to take your laundry and get your mom to do your laundry anymore. You don't need to go to your mom's every weekend. Well, I mean, that's probably just like hanging out, but like having your mom cook your meals or your lunch for you or something like that. Like,
definitely.
That's, come on,
or
grow
like
up.
You can't make a decision without calling your mom to be like, oh, I have to, you know, check with her. It's just
unattractive.
Or like making decisions about buying a house or having children or where to get married, like moms of the bride, like control. Just so much.
Listen, we love having a healthy relationship with your mom, but we're talking about a very specific difference here.
Yeah, exactly. So those are mine.
Yeah, so I'll go into mine. Some of mine, again, like I said, are very similar. So literally the first one is long fingernails. That is just the biggest one for me. Yeah. Like, yeah.
I don't think we have to say much.
No, get a manicure. I'll do it for you. No, I don't want to, actually. Next
Get their mom to do it.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, imagine. Next up is, again, same as one of Alex's, coming off as needy or pushy. This kind of goes in with your double texting or your clingy one. Just, if I get that energy from you, you've already scared me off. I don't like...
Push me away.
Yeah, I don't like this codependent. I'm a very independent person, so that is a very big red flag for me. Next up, hearing someone breathing. If we're, like, watching a movie and I hear you breathing beside me, I might smother you with a pillow.
I was just about to do it in the mic, and I was like, nope, not gonna do that.
Like, literally, before we came in here to record, we were hanging out on Alex's couch, and Nora was hanging out behind one of her cats, was behind me, and God love her, she's sleeping, so, like, her little wheezing was actually cute, but, like, if that was a human behind me, and, like, there's just...
Mouth breathing. Mouth breathers.
Oh, my God, I hate it.
That's the whole thing. A mouth breather, and that's not healthy for your health, guys.
It's also not. No, like practice taping your mouth while you sleep. Mouth taping.
Close your mouth when you're talking to me.
Yeah. Okay, so next up is insecure. So this one, I kind of wrote this out, like, if they're too shy to make a phone call for me, or... Like, I'm that kind of person, so
You're too shy to make a phone call.
Or, like, if I'm at a restaurant and they mess up my food, or I want a side of mayo or something, like, I want my person to be able to do that for me and to feel confident doing it. Don't get me wrong, like, I will do this for someone if I need to, but when I'm doing it for myself, I suck at it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I usually do it for Liv, so.
She really does, like, 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, it's funny.
But yeah,
but I also hate phone calls, too, so, like... Let's be real. We're millennials. What can we say?
Well, yeah. Can I send you a text message?
Yeah. Don't call me. I'll call you.
Yeah. Next up, being on their phone during quality time.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So I am, as someone who works on her phone, and like everything that I do, so much of my work is literally on my phone. When I don't have to be on it anymore, I don't want to be like hanging out with my partner and them being on their phone. Yeah,
this will go into eventually the love languages. This definitely plays a huge role in that for sure.
Yeah, because quality, like especially if we're choosing to have quality time together, like no, I don't want to see you on your phone.
Yeah, it's just kind of rude and disrespectful. You're not present.
But it's also like you're showing me what you would prefer to be doing right now, which I'm hearing you and I'm not okay with that.
Totally.
Next up, not taking charge. This probably kind of goes with like the insecure. I just really like masculine energy.
Manly men.
Yeah, and like again with the initiative and like the dating and stuff like that, like I want a partner who
allows you to be in your feminine.
Allows me to be my feminine, but also knows when to take charge and knows when to be like, I'm going to cook us supper tonight and I'm going to do the dishes after and then you go run a bath or something like that.
It kind of goes back to taking the initiative to plan that first date.
Yes.
Yeah, good
exactly.
Point. Yeah.
Not having their own friends, hobbies, interests. Like I said, I'm very independent. So like
you have a theme with yours too.
Oh my God, I'm realizing that. So clearly like
I like clean people.
Yeah, you don't want to be with someone dirty and I don't want to be with someone clingy.
Wussy or pussy. Yeah.
But also like Have your own, just be your own person. Have your own life. I think that's also just goes with like tips. Like if you're pursuing your own hobbies and interests and stuff.
I always say this.
It's going to be so much easier when you're dating because you're your own person.
Yeah, you don't complete me. I'm already a complete version of myself. Yes. When you come into my life, you just add more value.
You complement
me. You complement me, not complete me. It's two wholes coming together, not two halves to make a whole.
Yes. Yeah. You guys hear that? That is another tip. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Do be your own person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good it's huge. Liv. All right. I have a couple more to bang through. Ignores you when you're around people. So this is a big one. I've been in a lot of relationships where they act very different when it's us two alone, and then when we get around either their friends or my friends or in public. Listen, if you don't like PDA, that's fine, but let's have a conversation about it and get to a common ground, because I don't want to feel like you're not my partner anymore when we get around people. Like that's...
Or like introducing you confidently, like this is my girlfriend Liv, or this is somebody I'm dating.
Yes.
Yeah, that's happened
That's
before.
A big one.
Totally.
It's also, again, just, it can be a red flag, and like take note of these.
It's like they say people who don't post if they have social media and they're active all over social media, but then they don't post their partner.
Like, what are you trying to hide?
Yeah.
Why?
Interesting.
Very. Next up, toxic masculinity or asserting their dominance. Yeah, mine are all very on trend here.
So funny that we wrote these lists and I didn't even notice, but that kind of goes back to that mansplaining and being peacocking and being cocky, like just not an attractive quality.
No, and it's toxic, right? Toxic masculinity. I really struggle to say that word. Oh my god, I was hoping I wasn't gonna fuck it up, but I did.
Funny.
Anyway, last one: road rage or just a bad driver in general. I know everyone's probably had this where you're sitting in the car with like a friend or a parent or partner or whatever it is, and they just go berserk at someone that was like quite literally not in the wrong.
Yeah.
And this is funny because I've said this already to you guys, and I feel like I have to preface this because a lot of people know me from a previous time when I did have pretty severe road rage. And I used to be that person, and I know how unattractive that is, and I know what that was. It was a representation of me having a bad day or being in my ego or whatever it was. So now on the reverse of that, being around like in the car with someone who is like just laying on the horn or like freaking out at pedestrians.
Have a lot of patience.
That's it. I think that's it too.
That really comes down to it, I think. Yeah. Well, being a bad driver is just, being a bad driver.
Well, it's just like it doesn't look good. It gives me the ick because like I know that I'm a good driver and I know the rules very well. So I just want to be in the car with someone who also knows how to drive.
Totally. It is actually kind of sexy to see a confident good driver.
I'm like so turned on by good drivers.
Parallel parking is really sexy, guys.
Making me horny over here. If you know how to do it. But see, if you're in the car, like your first date, you find out they're a bad driver and you're taking like 20 minutes to park into like one parking spot.
To back into a spot,
I probably would just be like, you know what? I don't think we need the parking spot. Take me home.
Yeah, that's great. Oh my god.
But yeah, that's our icks.
Good icks, Liv.
Yeah. Feeling icky.
I'm feeling icky, sticky, and all the stuff.
Everything in between. All right, so we're going to wrap it up shortly, but last thing, we're going into Never Have I Ever.
Yeah, so anyone who's just fast forward through all of that to get to this.
Yeah, who doesn't care about the tips or the tricks. Like,
they're like, we're not even dating. We just want to know what's going on with you guys.
Yeah. So, Never Have I Ever. This one's going to be funny. We're just going to go back and forth, and
start
you guys at home, listen up, see what you guys are up to too.
Yeah, play along with us, guys. Yeah. I don't know. It's like put a finger down, obviously, or if you're drinking wine or a coffee or a tea or water, take a sip.
Anytime you lose, like take a drink, I
guess. Don't hesitate to tally us up because we're not going to tally this. Yeah. And let us know how we did. But
I feel like we're gonna lose a lot of this.
Yeah, I think I've already lost.
Oh yeah. So first one, never have I ever hooked up with a person of the opposite sex.
So wait, if I drink, that means I've never done it, or if I drink, that means I did do it.
So the whole point of the game is like if you've never done it, you like
drink.
Lost essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
So drinking is bad.
Yeah. So if you've never, Alex, have you ever hooked up with a person of the opposite sex?
No, I have not actually.
Oh, just gotta take a drink.
Let me just grab my coffee here. I mean, when I was in like university, I kissed my friend like for the boys, and you're young and silly and stuff. But no, I've never like actually hooked up and had an experience with another female. I am straighter than a ruler. Not that matters, I guess, because we all experiment and have fun. But no, I've never had that opportunity. So anyone looking to... I'm just kidding. What about you, Liv?
So do you want to rock her world?
Yeah.
I have indeed a few times now at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you prefer?
I love Dick.
Yeah, fair.
Mom,
fair.
stop listening.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely love Dick. I think girls are really, really hot, and I like to enjoy their bodies as well.
Yeah.
But I'm still exploring that one, and trying to just learn what I like, I guess.
Absolutely.
Try different things and
experiment, be open, be vulnerable, for sure. Yeah, great one.
Yeah.
So
that's one for Alex.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I'm losing right now.
Yeah.
Never have I ever hooked up in a public place.
I have.
I think we're both dry here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have as well.
I think it would be more dry if you didn't do this, though.
Yeah, I feel like, when you're in your teens, like God, again, mom and dad, please don't be listening.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, public place, we won't get into details, but we both have, so.
Yeah. I just think it's more fun.
Totally.
Next up, never have I ever hooked up with a teacher. But I kind of have a little bit of a funny story for this one. It's not, I didn't hook up with a teacher. I will just say that now. Have you?
No. I say that like I think shocking. That'd be fun, though. No, you know what?
I never, let me be honest.
When I turned 19 and saw some of my teachers out that were only a few years older than me, I was like,
could be fun.
No, I've never
I
honestly
done that. Had no teachers that I was like
me
attractive to.
Mine were old and women.
Yeah, most of mine were old for sure.
Yeah.
But I will say I have hooked up with my high school rugby coach.
Okay, so not a teacher but a coach.
A coach.
Scandalous.
I know, through the school. So it wasn't high school. I know everyone I went to school with is probably like, oh my God, which one?
All
trying to figure it out.
Texting each other, yeah.
Yeah, you'll never figure it out. That's okay.
You'll never know.
But it was not while we were training. Okay, it was not during rugby season.
He wasn't an active coach?
No.
Okay.
It was like after the fact.
What was the age difference?
Oh, God. I mean, it was probably like 7 years.
It seems worse when you're younger, but like now I would totally date
I feel like while I was in high school, so I would have been like 18.
Yeah, you were still a kid.
Like 18, yeah, and he would have been like 30.
Let's hope you were 18.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, I'm thinking high school.
Yeah. High school.
No, but we didn't hook up in high school.
Oh,
yeah. But when I was in high school, I think he was like 35 or 36.
Wow.
So he was like quite a bit older than me.
Yeah, that is quite a bit older.
Yeah, no, it was years after high school that we hooked up.
Fair enough.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. That is funny. Okay. Never have I ever given a guy the wrong number on purpose. I am too insecure and shy, and I have never done that.
I have not, but I've definitely wanted to.
I've wanted to.
Yeah, but I've also had the situation where I've given a guy my number and he's called it in that very moment, which like...
That's like my fear.
That's so
rude.
Scammy. Like, do not do that.
Yeah.
Because if someone is giving you a fake number, like, I know that that's probably going to piss you off and make you upset or whatever, but think of how uncomfortable this person feels in this moment to have given you a fake number, and now you're gonna call them out and then bitch at them or make them feel even worse about it.
Yeah,
like,
and obviously our advice...
It's obviously a safety thing.
Yeah, our advice would be that we would wish that we would have the confidence and to be able to say no. Yeah. And I know some people out there don't, and that's okay too. Yeah. My excuse when I was younger was, I have a boyfriend. Like, that was always an easy thing. That's another one we always use. But like, even like when you've gone on a bad date and you want to walk out on the date and you just... Like,
it's hard. That's tough.
Or you just feel it bad, or you want to be really nice. And yeah, I definitely have not done any of those things, but I've definitely wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Next up, never have I ever faked an orgasm.
Oh, we're getting into some serious stuff now.
Tea. Oh my God.
I mean, okay.
I have. I absolutely have.
I just want to say, I'm pretty sure 99% of the women listening to this podcast have all said, I have.
Yeah.
And there's a whole slew of things we could talk about. I definitely have. Mm-hmm. I think, probably more often than I would like to admit. And that's sad, to be honest.
It is really sad. And yeah, I think just like so many women struggle with this.
Oh, there's so much we could get into with this one.
We will not, because this opens up like a whole door of stuff, but it's a good one, and yeah, just know that you're not alone, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely... A lot of us.
Yeah.
You're not alone, so we both have there.
Yep.
Where are we at? Never have I ever traveled to another province to meet a guy we've never met in person.
Ooh.
I have.
I also have.
Yeah, we both have.
I even dated someone in Virginia for a little bit.
Yeah, I stayed in Canada, but I traveled to a different province and stayed with this person for 5 days. Never had met them in person, and we ended up dating after. Lots of stuff went on there, and I also traveled and met a person in Europe that I was talking with, not talking with, but like I'd known for years and years and years.
But that like you,
like a pen pal.
Yeah, you have like a friendship online for years, but you never actually meet the person.
Yeah, so I did it twice, once within the country and once outside of the country.
I feel like a lot of people do this now, especially if you like are open to traveling or open to long distance relationships. Like,
and if you've done all the safety, like one was a friend of a friend, another person I'd known for
or you like FaceTime them in advance.
But we just had never met. So, and your guy was in the States.
Yeah, I dated someone in Virginia. So I think well, I don't think, I know. He actually flew up and visited me first. So that was our first time visiting.
Okay.
But my mom would not so we like spoke for 3 or 4 months before we ever met each other. Yeah. And whenever I told my parents he was coming up to visit, my mom would not let him stay at our house, like at our family house. Well, we had to get an Airbnb, and I was like, but I don't think you understand that like by doing that you actually put me out
of the safety of the
four walls. I would like as a mother I would have thought having the person under my roof would make it
totally.
I think she was trying to keep me from doing it, but I did it anyway. Anyway, we dated, and that was Virginia. So I think it's a lot more common nowadays because everyone talks to everyone, like you meet them through social media all over the place, right?
The love stories on TikTok where people are running in the airport meeting for the first time.
It's cute. It is cute. Like it.
Yeah.
Next up, never have I ever cheated.
Okay, dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. So I've not.
You have not.
I've not. I really haven't.
Good for you.
No,
that's awesome.
I think I'm gonna die as like never being a cheater. I really do.
I feel like people always say like once a cheater, always a cheater, or you have to have a certain personality to cheat. I don't know.
I don't know if I believe in either of those.
Have you been cheated on?
Many a times. Yeah, unfortunately.
Same. Yeah, and same. But have I cheated? The answer to that question is no, I have not. Absolutely not.
The drama.
Yeah, no, I'm not a cheater.
Just clearing the air for anyone who might have thought otherwise.
Who might think that I have. I definitely have not. You're safe.
Yep. Here, that just really knocked you out there.
Next one up is never have I ever taken somebody's virginity. Another sex
I wish I have, but I literally haven't.
A V card?
No.
Or that notch in the belt? What is it? Yeah, V card.
Like, not that I'm aware of. I don't, like, no one's ever told me. That could be.
They probably would have told you.
Yeah. I'm assuming.
I mean, it can be a very beautiful, special thing, or it can be very horrible and traumatic. So, my experience with having mine taken was not good. So, when I had the opportunity to take a V card, I wanted... So yes, the answer is I have. I wanted to make it safe and special and memorable, and
that's so nice.
Yeah, it was important to me to kind of give back that opportunity that I unfortunately never had given to me.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good like life lesson too, is often people who don't get to experience something a certain way or the way that they may have wanted, they'll go above and beyond to make sure someone else doesn't go through like that negative experience they did.
Totally.
But yeah, that's kind of a big deal, taking someone's V card. It can be.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, the story around it is hilarious, and I'll have to tell you off air.
Yeah, you will.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
I love that. Next up, never have I ever had a one-night stand. I can't even say that without, like, rolling on the floor laughing.
Yeah.
Ew, I can't believe I said that.
Rolf.
Raffle.
That's so funny.
Oh, throwback.
Oh,
but yeah, no, yes, I absolutely have. I actually really enjoy one-night stands.
Yeah. Honestly, own it. Again, nobody's, like, we're not against one-night stands as long as that intention
when you know
what
you want and, like, you're being clear with that and you're doing it safely and all of that, like, yeah, it could be fun.
Yeah, it definitely can be. I mean, I think it's easy to say. A lot of us have.
Many.
Yeah, I think probably I've had more one-night stands like than I've had boyfriends. So.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Next one is never have I ever hooked up with an ex. Ooh. So you dated, you broke up, and you went back. Have you?
I have.
Oh, you went back to the old sloppy?
I have actually a few times.
You have?
Quite a few times, actually.
Really?
Okay, I just went through my last, 7 relationships, and I think
every
single one.
Really?
Every single one, Alex.
Okay,
That's not
girlfriend,
good.
we gotta digest this after.
Yeah, I'm
we
just
gotta
learning
process this, girl. I have not. Once that chapter is closed, that book is closed, I am done. I am moved on.
Damn.
I've not once gone back to an ex.
I could be like that.
I'm very, not that I get over guys easily. I used to. I as I've gotten older, it's been a little bit harder, obviously, different reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find that everything happens for a reason.
If we're ending it, we're ending it.
I've said this before. You guys have heard me say this. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lesson.
Yeah.
When I've gotten either that reason, season, or lesson, or lifetime,
you're done.
Yeah. That's the last one.
See, I'm really good at that as well, but I feel like, so I've hooked up with these people after, but I've known that we're not getting back together.
Yeah.
Some of them I will say, I wanted... It can
get messy, though.
It can, yeah. And, there have been, I can think of a couple scenarios where, I was continuing to sleep with them when I knew my feelings were not, over them kind of thing. But then there's other situations where we broke up and I knew that I did not want this person back whatsoever, and I just slept with them because it's familiar and get that one last time in, or now that we're not dating, we can just do it for fun and have fun with it. But
I've usually just
definitely not
completely cut ties, honestly.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
though.
I'm trying to think back to mine. I've had 3 serious boyfriends and then dated for a few months here and there, short-term boyfriends, more situationships.
Yeah.
And now that I look at it, I was I've never gone back. I've never even really talked to them after the fact either. We've just gone our separate ways.
Cold. Bye.
Yeah, I mean,
no, you're not
a
cold.
Scorpio, so.
Yeah, she knows what she wants, and when it's done, it's done.
Yeah, and usually a lot of the breakups were not great, so it's why would I put myself back into that situation or give my energy back to that person who might have cheated or hurt me or did whatever.
I think that's a healthy response.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you.
Let's keep trying to incorporate that into my life.
We're gonna talk about this again.
Yes,
but yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
Next up, never have I ever snooped through someone's phone.
Ooh, this is a big one.
Oh, this is such a juicy one.
Okay, well, my answer is really boring, so I'll go first.
Do it.
I've never. Wait. Okay.
She is boring. Oh, hold on.
I
slightly exciting.
Went skiing with my boyfriend at the time's family, and my phone died, and he was skiing, and he handed me his phone because I play Pokemon and anyway, he wanted me to go, he gave it to me to go on his phone.
Yeah.
While I was on his phone, his ex texted him, or Snapchat.
So she unknowingly kind of snooped.
I clicked on it obviously because it showed up while I had his phone in my hands.
That's gonna be
you can't not. And yeah, I think I deleted it and blocked her and then didn't say anything. And I don't think to this day I even said anything. I can't remember. But that was the only time, and it was an accident. So yeah, I've never, it's for me, ignorance is bliss, sort of. And I trust until you give me a reason not to. And obviously I have had that blow up in my face a few times. But I just want them to know that I trust them. I wouldn't want my privacy invaded, so why would I do something if I wouldn't want that same thing done to me? Not that I would ever have anything to hide, because I've never cheated, like we already talked about. But yeah, that's my answer.
No, I think that's a good one for sure. So I actually have...
Yeah. No judgment.
I think it's only one person that I can think of. Because I remember, everything that you kind of said, at the end there, the privacy, the evasion of privacy, I have had my phone snooped many a times, and I did not
had mine.
like how that felt, especially as someone, again, who was not cheating and was being wrongfully accused of, just things behind this person's back, and it was not lining up. It was not true. But whenever I was snooping this other person's phone, or my partner's phone, I found all of the things that I was accusing them of for months and months and months that they lied to me about. It did. And that doesn't mean that it's right or that you should do it. I still don't believe in it. And this was my relationship from 2014. So I haven't done it in years. Wow, 9 years. That's a long time ago. But yeah, it doesn't feel good to have it done to you. So don't go doing it to other people. But also I think, in this situation specifically, I obviously was trying to get the truth from him, and he was lying to me
this
about
was like
it.
your last resort.
It really was. And then after I saw the visual proof of it, I was able to leave the person and
gave you that confidence and that validation to walk away.
Like, there's the reasoning behind it. Totally. Again, it doesn't make it okay, but I think
as long as you've learned and are more self-aware, and like we're growing toward a place where like I know you know this about me and all my friends listening. I am and my family even. I'm a massive proponent of open and honest communication. I think communication is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Yeah. So if you're with a partner and you can't ask them or trust them, or if you're even having those intuition or gut feelings or red flags are showing up, like, talk about it first. If you're still having it, then maybe that's enough to leave anyway, without even having to do the snooping and detective work. And that should tell you enough.
Exactly. Like, if you can't have an open conversation, and if you start to feel like you need to snoop this person's phone, dive into those feelings, because that's you either maybe struggle with trust issues or jealousy issues.
Yeah, great
maybe
point.
The person's not in the wrong, or maybe the person is in the wrong and your intuition is telling you that you're being lied to and you need to follow through with that. So it just kind of opens the door up to like really explore that more.
Totally.
But I think we have one more. Yeah, we have one more Never Have I Ever.
All right. So never have I ever had a crush on my best friend's boyfriend.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
That could
this
be bad.
one is like, this one's a little bit of an interesting one for me. I know when we were putting these together, this one like kind of triggered me a bit because I have been accused of flirting with my friends' boyfriends. So I have never in my life, and I can say this very confidently, had feelings for somebody that my friend was dating. I loved all my friends' boyfriends who were kind and gentle. Obviously, I don't love the ones who were abusive and stuff, but I would automatically put a boundary up. They would be like a brother figure or just a friend, and I would be treating them like I would treat any of my friends. And so, when a person is taken, it's not like that forbidden fruit for me. It's like that person's off limits, and I don't even allow my mind to go there. Not to mention, the luckiest part about all of this is I never had the same preferences for guys as my friends in the past. Like, I would never want to date people they were dating because they were just not my type.
I love that. Like, I love having different.
I know me and one of my girlfriends, like one of my best friends, we would always joke about knowing that no matter what, we would never want to date the same guy, and that was always like a saving grace for us. That
is so funny.
What about you?
So I really had to think on this one because it's like bringing up some weird memories for me that aren't like tangible, but also I don't think that I've actually like I don't think I've fallen for any of my best friends' boyfriends, but I definitely remember being around like one of those like acquaintance friends or like someone who's in your friend group but it's not like your best friend, and thinking that like their boyfriend would be better off with me, or that we would be a better match than they and them. And I can't even remember who exactly that was, but I mean,
it's innocent crushes make sense as long as you're not acting.
It's what you choose to do with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I'm sure millions of people out there are like, of course I have, or you can't help who you fall for or have feelings for.
It can be. I can even think of like I can think of a friend right off the get-go who's had a crush on one of my ex-boyfriends, and I knew it while we were dating. That's and I knew it after we broke up. She's a good friend, though, because she hasn't done anything, as far as I know. Like, God, I guess something could be like behind my back.
Yeah, one of those situations where they did end up getting together.
And you think they played it off so well. They really, like...
And that, I mean, how many movies have been made about that?
That happens in countless situations, for sure.
Oh, my God. So it looks like, I think I lost.
I think we both lost.
We tied.
Yeah, we got a lot.
How did you guys do?
Yeah,
let us know.
Curious.
Send us messages.
Are you guys more scandalous than
us? Yeah. We definitely we'll play this again for sure. I know we have 20 other Never Have I Evers that we could talk about.
Totally.
But I think we're gonna wrap it up here, though.
Yeah. Bit of a longer episode, but we wanted to.
We were talking about it being short and sweet and lighthearted, but come on, guys, we can talk. That's why you love us. That's why you listen.
That's why you're here.
You're here for an hour and a half of your life, of your day, of your time.
Just throw us on in the background, do your dishes, do the laundry, whatever it is. Yeah.
Anyway,
do that stretching you told yourself you're going to do.
Good point. Drink some water, guys.
Yeah, drink up.
But yeah, thanks so much for being here. We hope you enjoyed getting to know us a little bit more from the relationship side.
Yep.
You know, as a 20-something and 30-something, we're both single. We have had lots of experiences with dating and relationships.
Again, this is just our experience, but
and take everything with a grain of salt. But we hope if you are out there and you're dating and you're trying to find love, we're sending you so much love and luck. Be safe, be kind, be yourself.
Yeah.
Be, who you are and authentic, and be proud of that, and show all your flaws and everything that makes you you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next week we have a fun little episode for you guys. We're going to keep this one a secret, but we can't wait for this episode. So we hope that you tune in. Again, every Thursday we drop episodes weekly. Stream it on your favorite platform, wherever you get your podcasts. We are so glad for you being here with us today.
Thanks for being here, guys.
All right.
We love to have you.
Thanks so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
We're pretty much good to go.
Can you speak?
Hello? Can you see me?
Yeah. Okay, we're good.
I see you. You see me? Yes, I see you.
All right. Not annoying at all.